Hello. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's section of reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The dice and decks I'm using are listed below with websites there should be. Other than that, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and let's go ahead and get into your selection. Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aries? Queen of Wands is where this is beginning from. So, started this with the best of intentions, that's for sure. Felt like it would go where I wanted to. Well, that makes sense. What's going on? Okay, so what is going on here? This situation has been better. All right, it's going to be what it's going to be. Let's find out. When this started, it was great. It was wonderful. I liked it. I didn't think it was squeaky clean perfect, but I liked it for what it was. And I wasn't expecting perfection. I just didn't think that was realistic. I'm like, no, everything has edges. I feel like I kept going that direction. Everything has edges. This has some issues too, but it's not the worst, and I can deal with these because I can see what the problems are here. I can handle those. I can call them out as necessary. I'm not expecting perfection. I keep getting that over and over. I wasn't expecting perfection. I wasn't expecting perfection. I was expecting over time, though, that, things in certain areas would improve. Again, I wasn't expecting perfection. I was expecting improvement. Not perfection, improvement. And you were invested in that. I get that you were invested in the improvement. This one card, this is going to be, that's interesting. Okay. I'm not seeing the improvement I wanted. I'm getting a lot of resistance from that. A lot of resistance. Can we get a Y? Is there a Y with that? Lack of foundation. Earth, it's the Hierophant and it's the King of Pentacles, but they're coming in like this. It's kind of like somebody halfway somebody putting in half effort. Half effort. I'll do it while you're looking. It reminds me of one of those kids. You know what I mean? When you have that type of kid, like, when you're watching them or when they think you can see them, they do what they're supposed to. But if you're not there, they're like, I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it. I feel like as long as they're in your sight, they do what they're supposed to. When they're out of your sight, they don't. And I think that's why I'm not seeing the progress. This all seems to come in at once, but I'm just going to do one piece at a time. You're putting it in out there. That lady's hair on that card, it looks so strange to me. It's like, I'm like, I don't know, it almost looks like she has crazy hairy armpits, which is fine. But just the way the hair goes crazy on this person, just crazy hair. It's fine. It's cool. It's very interesting. You're right to give this another shot. You're right to talk this out. And you're putting it right out there like, I'm not putting up with this much longer. I've kind of invested in this, but I'm also coming to the end of my rope. This is the other part that I'm seeing. They're saying you're doing your best and you're giving the situation a shot. Ace of Swords with the, yeah, you're calling it out. You're giving it one more shot. I feel like it's one more shot because I've given it so much of a chance. but I'm very upset with it. I'm not happy. I don't think I'm really overly invested at this point. I'm kind of like, I've seen where it's been going, and I'm thinking maybe I need to look into options because I'm about done with this. It's almost over, and the Ten of Swords, I'm not happy with this. And I don't have a lot more patience. It's kind of like, all right, I was optimistic that it could improve. I'm not seeing improvement. I didn't want perfection. I wanted improvement. Wasn't expecting perfection. I was expecting improvement. I'm not seeing it. And this is a point where I feel like I'm also moving towards options. I'm considering like, all right, I don't know that this is going to work out. In fact, I'm not really thinking it will. What does this mean for me? What do I want to do in my life? How do I want this to look going forward based on what I'm getting out of this situation? And I'm starting to make some really hard decisions. And the hard part is like, Aries usually moves on decisions when they make decisions. And I feel like that's the hard part. Because like, once I make up my mind, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm almost a little bit reserved, reluctant to make the decision because I know myself is what I'm getting. For those of you this is going to hit with, you know yourself, and you know once I've made my mind up, I'm just going to start doing what I need to do. And that's heavy. That's heavy. It's time to start planning for what you want to come here that realistically can happen. And the signs from above, along with the Seven of Pentacles, is like, yeah, it's time to start working towards what decisions you want to make, what needs to happen, and where you want to actually end up. I would start from the end and work backwards. Okay, so in other words, like if say we're dealing with a piece of property that just never seems to shape up, all right, I want to be in a much better house. How do I get there? Or like, what house do I want first? And then if I go backwards, how do I get there? I don't know, I feel like I find my goal and I work backwards. I just keep getting that. I don't know if that's making sense because I'm not getting the whole train of thought, but I get like, I don't want to be this house. I want to be in that house over there. So like to get that house, I need to have this amount of money. To get that amount of money, I have to have this type of job or this type of income. To get that type of income, I need to do this type of stuff. Blah 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 blah. Like part of that's going to be selling this house to lend into that. So how do I do that? Stuff like that. I'm using a house as an analogy, but for some of you, I'm kind of feeling it's something a little bit more, like it might be more, it could be relationship wise. It could be like a relationship. It could be. I'm getting what's going to happen here is like, I'm getting a too little too late response here, which I don't feel bad for the people I don't feel bad for the other side because like, yeah, you're not going to put up with this. You got the Seven of Swords reversed, which means I'm not going to play nice about it. I'm not going to let people get away with things that they shouldn't get away with. Remember where you want to be. Where do you want to end up? I don't really want to create more of a mess because I feel like I'm going to emotionally take some of that with me. Keep that in mind. I'm going to handle it the way I need to handle it, but I'm going to keep it very succinct and right to the point, and I'm just going to walk away. I don't need to invest my energy in other problems. Maybe when you were younger, maybe you would have, but I'm getting like, you know what this entails. You know, if this gets too bloody, it just drags on for years, and we don't need that. Get right to the point, say what you need to say, then get out. Because you don't need to drag the emotion with you. This isn't worth it, is what I'm getting. And I'm getting too little too late. You're going to start moving forward, and I get like, this is where it's going to be hard. I'm getting this is where it's going to be hard. You're going to make your decision, and you're going to start moving forward in a different direction, and you're going to have made decisions. I didn't see the improvement. I gave it one last shot. Still didn't see the improvement. And then when you're packing up and leaving or going wherever you're going, that's when, but look at everything I've done. Just give me a little bit more time. I'm working on it. You didn't give me enough time. And we're seeing all the excuses fly out of the woodwork. Mind you, it's too little too late. So like, I want to use the house analogy. I feel like it's nicer. You've been trying to get this work to work out for years. Maybe just make it 3 to 4 years just for argument's sake. And you gave it one last chance, and you kind of like, it either works out this time or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, I'm going. You gave it this one last chance, it's not happening. It's not like it's the only chance you gave this situation. It's proven to you what it does and what it won't do. And this last ditch effort, like, no, you didn't give me enough time. I'm in process. Look at all this stuff I've happening. Look at all this that's going on. And you already know, yeah, when I'm watching you or when you think you're going to lose something, then you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But once I pull back the pressure or I will look away, you're going back to doing nothing. I'm not here for it anymore. They're going to try this last ditch effort to get you to stay in this situation, whatever it is. There's some last ditch effort. And then there's this, you got two different versions here. I have some Aries placements, so I think I understand where this is going, but if you think I'm wrong, put it in the comments, let me know. The World card coming in, it could be a problem. It's kind of like, listen, I'm crossing this bridge, I'm not coming back. And it's almost like people are trying to entice you to come back across the bridge. And you're like, listen, if I have to get this point across by blowing up that bridge, I will blow up that bridge. Which is not a good thing. It's really not a good thing. Like, I understand it. I feel like Aries does this. Again, I said, I have some Aries placements. I feel like I've done certain things like this, but if I'm wrong, you let me know. Aries is very strong and does not put up with this stuff at all. And then when you really make Aries mad, they're like, okay, no, you're not getting it, so I'm going to help you get it. Like, this isn't an option. I'm not negotiating. I'm informing you. And now I need to make you understand that this is not a go back situation. It doesn't have to go that way. It doesn't have to. Another version, which is ironic, is the Three of Swords. I feel like I just stand there and I reiterate everything, every chance they've had, every time they didn't do what they were supposed to. And then I almost feel like I do this. You know what? I'm going to keep going down my path. Come back to me when you got all that stuff done. I want to see proof. Like, I don't want to hear about it being in process. That's not going to work. I'm moving out now and I'm going. Come back to me when you got the proof of everything you were supposed to do. And then I'll talk. And then we can talk about it. I want to see all the proof. Because I feel like I know that's not going to happen. And I also feel like, I just feel like that's going to shut it down. Is that going to work? Am I being realistic with Aries here? I feel like they play the game in their conversation. But then I feel like you're not going to promise anything. You're just like, I just want to see the proof. Show me the proof and I'll decide based on the proof I see. I'll reconsider it. I'm not saying I will do anything. I'm saying I will reconsider it after I see the proof right here. Well, I'm not going to do it unless I have a guarantee. That's your answer. Because if that's the only reason you're doing it, there's no point. No consideration until I see the proof. Show me the proof. When I have the proof right in front of me, I'll reconsider. I'm not saying I'll do anything other than just look at it. And that might be all I do at it. I feel like that's all I need to do. And I feel like I even have to reiterate that to other people. If so-and-so brings the proof that they've done it, I'll reconsider. I'm not saying I will do anything. I'm saying I'll reconsider. And you might be fully well aware, like, yeah. It may be a strategic move for you, kind of like, yeah, no, I'm done. But it's just kind of like, instead of burning bridges or blowing them up even, I feel like Aries blows them up, quite frankly. I really do. There's a difference between burning it and blowing it up, I'm just saying. I feel like that'll shut it down and it doesn't have to be a problem. It really doesn't. It will get stuck for a moment. Whatever this is, it will get stuck for a moment, but I feel like you're moving on emotionally anyway. It may technically be stuck for a moment, whatever that means. Like physically or something might legally be stuck for a moment, But emotionally, I feel like once you've moved on, you've moved on. So you might be emotionally free from it, but not technically free on paper for some reason. Um, I don't know what to say about that. You got to do what you got to do. I feel like it's fine. I don't know. I just feel like they're just acknowledging it. Somebody else might feel like, yeah, somebody else might feel like they got you stuck, but they don't. And I feel like I'm just going on with my life and I'm just moving forward. Other people may think they have me stuck, but they don't. Um, it's going to be difficult for other people when they realize they don't have the control over you that they thought they should, which they're just wrong, but whatever. You know, people get things in their head where they think they should this or they think they should have that, and they just don't. This is more about them than you at this point. I just feel like I don't need to acknowledge it. I don't even have to deal with it if I don't want to. Um, the analogy I would give, this is how I just keep getting it the same way. I used to work on the phones. It was a couple decades ago now, but it was for a financial institution, and there were some things going on that people were not happy about. And sometimes before the call even really started, I would get met with a lot of four-letter words, and I would just simply ignore that and just keep moving on because I didn't have the time to spend on having those conversations. I didn't want to have that conversation. And I'm just like, let's just deal with the actual problem. And people have the language they're going to have, and I don't feel the need to. I don't feel like I don't feel like being ripped apart just for saying my name was worth it. But they did what they did. But I also don't see me trying to fix somebody else's personality because they think that's a way to greet somebody. I'm like, I'm going to talk to you for like 5-10 minutes tops. Why worry about it? And I just don't acknowledge it. I just feel like it's not worth acknowledging it. It's not worth my time. It's not going to change how they feel. It's not going to change how they act. So it's kind of like, you know what? I'm not going to spin my wheels on that worthless conversation and just move past it. And I just deal with what the parts of the conversation I have to deal with, the language and the attitude. I don't feel like that's my problem. I don't have time for that, and I don't want to have time for that to even acknowledge it. I'll deal with what's wrong with the account. I'll fix what I can. I'll inform where I can, and then the call is over. Have a good day, and that's that. This will move on for you at some point, whatever this is. You'll be on to other endeavors. You got the Chariot. This isn't going to stop you from getting what you want out of life. The energy will go better for you after this is finished. This may drag on for a while, but it will end. And when it does, you'll have new things coming forward. You'll have new possibilities coming in. The Ace of Wands wants to show up, but I do get that it's out there a ways. I don't want to act like it's not that far. It does feel like it's out there a ways. It will show up again. It's just not really soon, but it will show up again. All right. I'm going to shut that down there. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.